Hello and welcome to PaxAriaGaming. This is Reg with episode 16 of Code Vein 2, the final episode. There'll be a lot going on in this episode. We're going to get the ending, and then we're going
I
to
will
get
now
the
transport
true
us the
ending of the
Luna
game.
Rapacis. Are you ready to depart? So be it. The key to Valentin's cocoon is his closest confidant. An unusual key, to say the least, and yet only he can commune with Valentin's pathos. Noah, it is you.
Guess that checks out.
Having said that, Valentin's cocoon is particularly resilient. The key alone cannot break his seal. Our solution, the Luna Rapacis. The moon brims with energy generated by the resurgence. By harnessing its power, you'll be able to reach Valentin and release his seal. The fate of humanity is in your hands.
What's the matter?
I have debated long hours whether to divulge this before I sent you away. But I believe you have the right to know, and the news will not be pleasant. But please trust that I mean well in telling you this.
We won't we won't get to hear what she's telling him. Just in case you're wondering, I don't hear anything. And I won't spoil it. Okay, so we have to collect resurgence energy.
Hey, sorry for the wait.
And we'll do that by taking on a number of
You
different
damn
resurgence.
fool. Who asked you to put the world on your shoulders? Way back when, he and I swore an oath. If we ever found ourselves at the crossroads of destiny, we'd walk down the same path, together. And if either of us was ever to stray, the other would drag his ass back onto it. Now, I guess it's time I make good on that oath. Come on, let's go. I've got to pry him out of this nightmare. It's been too long. I was itching for a fight.
We have arrived at Luna Rapacis, cradle of the final cocoon, and the infernal bane of all revenant kind. The air feels heavy with tension. Multiple shards of pathos are nearby. Let's start collecting resurgence energy, but be ready for anything.
I can make us some food if you want to rest.
I've never seen any of the characters make food, so I don't know what he's talking about. We're at level 110. Probably by the time we get to the end, we'd probably be in the 120s, maybe even 130s. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is going in each of these directions. You can see there's blue, there's yellow, there's green. Each of these pathways takes us to feels like a segment of the areas we were in before, like the sunken city, the corroded scar, and the undead forest. And we'll face a battle in each one of them. And this metagen doesn't count. This is just to grab the item that's behind it.
Be ready for anything. I feel light as a feather.
The good thing is the metagens don't bother me anymore. Okay, well, if you guys will remember, I always die at the beginning of each video, but let's see if I can change that now that we're at the final video. And as you can see, my blue blades continue to proc poison. Although I wasn't sure whether it would affect the metagen, because one of them also sort of procs poison, but I guess this one doesn't. Maybe? Though by this point in the game, you should be pretty powered up if you've done a lot of the side quests and things like that. So a lot of the field bosses really shouldn't bother you. The good news, bad news about this episode is that the first hour or so of this episode is awesome. The second hour of this episode is less awesome.
You forgetting something?
And the reason why is because somewhere along the line in my recording, I lost sound and didn't realize when that happened, and continued playing beyond the game and started New Game Plus. So I couldn't go back to a previous save and do it all over again. And so what I'm going to do when we get to that part is I'll narrate some of it. I'll sort of do some heavy editing, so you won't see a full boss fight. You'll see the boss, and you'll see me get to the end of the boss fight, just to cut down on the amount of, no narration that there is. I did try to leave in when characters, their key points, because it's the end, which is the unfortunate part about losing the sound. I did leave in the key dialogue, so you can read that. I think it's important to understand what's going on, especially to get the true ending. And when I get to that part in New Game Plus, right now I'm doing Crimson Desert, so it'll probably be months before I get to that part. And after Crimson Desert, the plan is to play Neo 3. So I don't know when I'm going to get to that. But when I get to it, I will record it and create another episode, call it a bonus episode, and put that on so you can actually hear what they're really saying, but you can read it. That's the good thing about the subtitles, is that you don't miss things. And certainly if you're a person who can't hear, reading the subtitles would be perfectly normal. But I'll narrate as much of that part as I can. I try to keep it interesting, but right now we do have sound, so let's make our way through Luna Rapacis. And some of these bosses, like this field boss, is tough, and there's another one coming up that's like the worst boss of the game for me. Those floating guys that carry the bells, I hated fighting them. I mean, they fly around, so it's kind of hard to hit them. If you try to pull out your arrow, your statesman bow, and use it, they move around too fast. They're doing all kinds of magic attacks against you, so it's definitely not fun. And in the game, I avoided most of them. I didn't bother trying to fight them. I think I ended up killing 3 during the whole game. One, I didn't have a choice. It was blocking a pathway. Another one, I was fighting because I thought I had to fight them all. And at that point, this guy's got wrestling moves. And at that point, I realized I didn't have to fight them all. And if you're on your bike and you ride away from them, they won't really chase you. I'll give you my assessment of the game at the end. But I can tell you I did absolutely enjoy playing it. And started enjoying playing New Game Plus even more because I decided, whoa, alright, 10 minutes in, that was my first death. Because I decided to go with the rune blades, and loved it. I did keep the bayonet. You do keep all of the weapons that you get, so anything you get that you've leveled up, including the bequeath for May and all that other stuff, you do get to keep. The bosses are stronger, but I was probably, by the time I got to this game, I was probably over leveled anyway. So the early bosses, I'm probably up to the Holly area, Undead Forest area. So the early bosses in the game aren't going to bother you. The later bosses might, because they were leveling up anyway. But the earlier bosses, you go right through them. Where it might have taken me like a dozen tries on a particular boss, you first try them. The field bosses are no problem at all. What's the guy's name? Franz, who is Noah's friend, was a problem for me when I first faced him. Such a problem that I actually ended up leaving that area, moving on with the story, and then coming back to it later. This time around, I got him first try. The other thing is you get lost less because the map is open. The travel points aren't, but the map is open. So you've unveiled the entire map. So you have a better idea of where you're going. That makes it a lot easier in the Game Plus. But like I said, there are just too many other things I want to get done. I knew that both Neo and this game were going to come out around the same time. I think they were like a week apart. And once I started playing this, even if I'd started playing Neo, I knew that I wouldn't have been able to play this, so I had to pick one. I played Neo 1 and 2, and I played Code Vein 1, so it was a toss-up as to which one I would play, but whichever one I played meant the next one, the second game, was going to be something that I would have to hold off on. And that's fine. I have the game, so it's not going anywhere. I will play it whenever I get a lag in games. But like I said, right now I'm doing Crimson Desert, and that game is a beautiful game. Very difficult to record because there's just so much going on in terms of content. You know, should I just stick to the main story recording, or should I record all of the exploring and stuff? There's a lot to explore in the game, and you can go anywhere in the game. By the way, you can climb any mountain, literally. I couldn't figure out a pathway around the mountain, so I just climbed it. Took forever. Then there was an issue of me having to transport a bandit back that I had captured. Couldn't figure out how to get back on the first attempt. I did eventually make it back, but the first attempt I was carrying him. I ended up dropping him, and he ended up falling down the mountain and dying, which then resets that particular quest. Some of the bandits you can bring back, they're wanted dead or alive, so it doesn't really matter, but this particular one you had to bring back. So once the game reset, I gave up on that one for a little while, and I did go back to it when I went into exploration mode. And you know, there's an area where you can turn off. But it's real. This is no, dude, get out of my way. Get out of my way. Yeah, all the NPCs do this, which is, you know, I think it's a bit of a flaw. I know they're trying to protect you, right? That makes sense. But the issue is that if you're using the Statesman bow offensively, like I was, it's annoying to have them stand in front of you and block your way. They all do it. Lou probably does it less than anybody else, but Noah does it quite a bit. Licorice does it a ton. Who else does it? Xenon did it. Lyle maybe less so, but as you can see, I did do this and die, which is why my haze is over there.
Nicely.
This is the bell type enemy that I was talking about. Very annoying enemy. It's got like 18 different attacks, including that one when you're running away. But he won't chase you. You might get hit a couple of times, but you'll be able to escape. There is a save point here. Not a mistral, but one of those revive points. It's always good to grab this so that if you die, you come back here instead of all the way back at the beginning. And of course, we have our first Resurgent Energy boss. There's one for each of these areas, by the way. This first one is our old friend.
So much for that.
It's a version of our old friend, Joseph. They only have one phase, so again, you don't have to go through 2 phases of this. And you guys are probably wondering, isn't this like the 3rd time we have faced Jose? Yes, it is. It is. You know, as annoying from a story standpoint as that might be, it does give you an opportunity to basically skill check. You got all the same moves. You know, putting those electrical spider webs on the floor, throwing those things at you. Watch out for her blood reaver sword. I'm too far away to get the critical attack. Oop. Alright, you got me. The first time I faced her, she was killing me with those electrical things. At least I'm calling them electrical things. Maybe they're not like this. It's some kind of magic thing. Those will easily dodge. That one's... You only get hit with that if you're close. So you don't ever get hit with it if you're as far back as I was. And she won't combine that, like she won't jump and then do that. She might catch you off guard. The wind-up is pretty big. You can sort of see the wind-up. That one is different because when she stabs the sword into the ground, it produces those electric spider things. This gives you an opportunity to get some hits in. I got the critical here. Much easier fight than the previous 2 times I faced her. I think part of it too is that you've learned the moves, right? She's not doing anything different. The moveset doesn't change. So I have poison proc down here. That's number 1. These little beads, these little balls, you can simply avoid. They do damage you if they hit you. get some ichor. So she's lost the poison proc. This 3-shot volley is probably... I don't know why I stopped using the homing version of this. But the 3-shot volley is probably one of the better ones. The heavenly, this one only works if you, like that time, all 3 of those actually hit her. But I've struggled with timing the boss's movements into the area where those things fall. She almost got me that time. She's always going to leave an opening when she jumps, because now that you know she has that opening, it's easy to dodge it by either rolling forward or rolling away from her. But I think rolling forward gives you an opportunity to get an attack or two in. I don't want to mess this up, but I should have gotten some ichor. I should have used the jail attack. Yeah, that one's... It's rare to get hit by that one unless you just mistime your jump. Close to the end of it. That did it. She ran right into my electrical spell. The little electric balls.
I gotta say, you two have come into your own since we first met. I'm impressed. Your movement in combat is looking much sharper, more practiced. And Lou, there was a time you seemed afraid of your own shadow. Now there's conviction in your eyes. I was prepared to stay at your side for some time, but apparently I need not. You two can handle yourselves just fine. Hey, you okay?
No, it's an incursion. But why now of all times?
I see. You became a revenant for your family.
We get a little bit more backstory
on whatever it took. The payoff was seeing my siblings and parents reach old age. My nieces and nephews are all the family I have left now. Our happy reunions rouse old memories.
So you get to see some Noah backstory.
The beauty of life lies in continuity. I'm convinced now, Noah. Our role as revenants is to serve mankind as its guardians. I want a world where families like yours live free of strife. We'll achieve this together.
What Valentin said was true. The circle of life is truly wonderful.
I think we're going to get an incursion with each one of the Resurgence bosses we fight.
It's been a century since you and I last had one of those incursions, huh? Glad you're holding up okay. We're here to protect a world where the seeds of humanity can bloom forevermore. The raison d'etre of revenants. A Valentin turn of phrase, as I'm sure you can tell. After we met and became true comrades, well, it wasn't long before his dream became mine. I only wish we could have made it happen in our time. I digress. The past is past. Don't mind me. That's all the energy in this area. With that done, let's move on to the next one.
Okay. So we're going to zip over to the next area. Actually, before we do that, and when we were running past this area earlier, I saw this chest and I didn't get it because I was busy running for my life. So let's grab this before we jet off.
Aren't you forgetting something?
I don't remember hearing him say that before. Maybe he did say it. I think the other thing about New Game Plus is that having the opportunity to use some of these late game weapons that you find and spells or forme that you find is, I think, what makes playing New Game Plus more interesting than it would have been normally. Otherwise, there would be no reason to just play the same one over again. Although with Lies of P, I think I did the same thing with the DLC. You know, you get the best weapons and you want to see, well, how does this stack up? So you go back and you play it all over again with the weapons. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. I think part of it is if you have the time to do it. If you're a content creator that, you know, is going through 15 or 20 games a year, then I don't know how you would ever have the time to do it. For me, my limit is no more than 10. And this year, that number may be 8 because I think Crimson Desert is likely to take up a couple of months. And Code Vein was over a month. So in the course of a 12-month year, my goal was to get 10 done, 10 videos, 10 series. I don't know that I will be able to do that this year. It's fine. I'm not going to stress over it. This is more of a hobby for me. I play the games anyway. I only have a handful of subscribers, so it's not like I have, you know, a million people following me that I need to keep happy. I enjoy the game. I play the game because I love playing these games. I love figuring things out. I love solving problems. Particular kinds of games I play. You know, there's certain games I won't bother playing because it's not my style.
This one's different.
These type of games I love. I'm always going to play them. You know, learning how to sort of record them, recognize tech issues when they pop up, which I'm still not all that good at. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the problem at the end of this video with sound. I don't use OBS, which I probably should. And the other thing is, I have an 80-inch television that I actually play the game on with a PS5. And I'm never going to sacrifice having a PS5 as having a 80-inch television as my monitor. It's just awesome. You feel like you're in the game. But doing it that way means I'm not always catching when there's a problem unless I'm actually looking at the PC that's connected to it, which is not necessarily sitting right next to me. Once I set it up, I go on. The problem for me is that whenever my PCs do these system updates, for some reason it resets the audio stuff. Never the visual stuff, never anything else, it's just the audio stuff. I don't know why that is. Again, it may just be an issue with the software that I use to record. Maybe it doesn't happen with OBS, maybe it only happens with the one I use. Okay, once you learn this guy's moves and you don't get hit by him, they're not all that difficult, but they still fly around. It's still pretty annoying. But anyway, so I play the game for the love of the game. You know, I have a career. I'm not worried about making money off of YouTube. I invest well, so I don't really, I'm not all that concerned about those kinds of things. You know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, not the end of the world. I'm still going to play the games. And at least for now, I'm still recording them and putting them up for people who, you know, are into either Souls-like games or fantasy-type games or RPGs, those kinds of games. And I'm a bit of a completionist. The latter part of this video is sort of heavily edited, so you won't see some of the things that I did. But I just think it's fun. And I've watched other content creators who I watched different ones, so they're not all into the same kinds of games that I play. So some of them I watch just to get the reaction, and some of them are more focused on the reaction, so they're, to me, less focused on the content, because, you know, they'll take what in real game time might have taken 3 hours to do and put it in a 30-minute video. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're watching the video for the reaction, then it's funny. If you're watching the video because you're using it as a guide to play the game, you're not going to get anything out of it, because you have to cut so much out to cut that content down to 30 minutes. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, if it's for the humor and stuff like that, then it does make sense. You know, same thing with people, you know, with Elden Ring. You know, I watched people play Elden Ring fully, like I did. I watched people who sort of cut it down. I mean, they had to play all of it to get to that point, so it's not like they didn't play it. Maybe they just didn't feel like, you know, editing, you know, hundreds of hours. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why they would do it that way. I semi-understand the editing part. Because if I'm gonna fight the same boss like, you know, a dozen times, like when I was playing Sekiro, which I wasn't recording back then, the final boss I fought 77 times.
Hey, you gonna leave that lying there?
Ishin, the Sword Saint. I don't think anybody wants to see me fight the same boss 77 times. Same thing with Millennia and Elden Ring. You know, so yes, showing the first couple of attempts, maybe showing a mid attempt, because you record it all, because you don't know which one is going to be the successful attempt. So you do end up recording it, but it's literally hours and hours and hours and hours of content, which takes a long time to edit. If you have someone editing for you, then it's a little bit easier, right? You just turn over the file, let them edit it. But I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy, so for me, it's the fun of it all. I mean, sometimes the stories are good, sometimes they're not. This story is okay. The time travel thing was an interesting piece. However, wow, that blast got him. It can be a bit much when you end up going back and forth multiple times. This is after the opening scene where Lavinia tells you don't mess with time, don't go around changing time, and of course that's exactly what we did. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Before it's all over, 4 times. So clearly, you know, it didn't destroy the world to go back and do that. So I mean, again, this is sort of fantasy-ish. So I guess fantasy science fiction. Science fantasy, if you want to call it that. Yeah, my bayonet is awesome. I almost wish I had started the game with the bayonet. Anyway, enough of me prattling on about other games. Let's just focus on this one. So with this one, wow, I know how to cook that. I think this is better than the first game. I enjoyed the first game. I think this is better. I think this improves upon it. I don't know whether there'll be a third game. I haven't really paid attention to any of the comments about the game. my understanding is it's done slightly better than Neo 3 in terms of sales, which is interesting. But I guess part of it depends on what the developers and the company that produces the game, what their expectations were. They all have projections. I don't know what they were for this game.
You gotta grab anything we can
I mean,
use.
it's a pretty sizable gap between this game and the previous one. So, I mean, during that time, there was also the pandemic, which slowed a lot of production down. So I don't know when they decided that this was one that they were going to do. Okay. We're getting ready for another fight. Since we are in
So much for that.
Holiday. This is the Undead Forest, a version of the Undead Forest, so we're going to be fighting Holly again. She was a real pain the first time we had to deal with her. The good news is it's only, again, one phase. So before we fought her, she was sort of a giant version of Holly, and then when she moved into the second phase, she became this version of Holly. And I chose Noah for these fights, although I could have chosen any of a number of other ones. Other than Lou, he was the first partner that I had, and I like him. He's going to factor into the end when we get to the hero of Darlington. Which we'll do after the next Resurgence hero. Yeah, she does still do the cloning thing. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this fight, as was the case when we faced her the first time. I'm better at blocking than it was earlier. More heals, which also helps. We can get away so I can separate these two. Yeah, the idea is not to get into a situation where they're both of these Hollies are like right next to you, causing a lot of damage. You want to keep some distance between them. So once you take out the other Holly, you're good. I don't remember whether or not she clones again later. She might. I think it's a time thing and not there's only one clone. I think if you linger too long, then she may have the opportunity to clone one more time. Okay, so that one's done. I don't know that move she does where she causes this thing to explode on you, even when I dodge, it still clips you. Like that. So maybe it's just unavoidable. I can never tell when she's going to be stunned for a second or two. She has a There's a period where she gets hit and she just sort of stops. And she's catching her breath or whether she's a little stunned. Like there. But that's a real stun there, but I'm too far away to do anything about it. Let's see if I point out if she does it again. Yeah, like there, just standing there. If I'm close, I figured I needed some damage, and I'm never, because of the sight she's wailing around like that, I don't feel comfortable getting close. You can roll through most of it. That one's easy to dodge. So that's the exact same. The moves are the same as the first time we faced her. So there. Well, the ice thing. All of it is dodgeable. But she's not really doing anything all that different. Yeah, she gotta watch out for that. See now, in the previous time we faced her, she only did that move in the first phase of the fight. She didn't do that move in this phase of the fight. And you do have time to, I think she sort of caught me off guard, you do have time to get onto one of these little squares. For some reason, I didn't do that, and she ended up catching me. I've avoided two of those by simply rolling. I've been doing that, but they seem to catch me more often than miss me. She's a difficult one to sort of proc poison on because she does do it more than once. I guess it's a time kind of thing. I hate when I use these things because it takes significant ichor when you use it up that. And the safer shot would have been the 3 volley shot. The other thing, I took that spell off, or that coordinate off. With her is the one where even if she's standing around, I can sort of send an electrical signal through the ground. Okay, she's doing that again, jump. Because even if she's standing over there, I would have been able to do it and it would have gotten her. But once I took that off and didn't put it back on, I guess I didn't anticipate these particular fights, which is why they were off.
You know, there's something I've waited a century to be able to ask you.
What?
I know we're not allowed to know how history changed, but be honest with me.
Buddy, we've changed history so
I
often.
remember that day, that moment, in fact, when you burst in on me and France trying to kill one another on Magmel Island. You came back through time to save my hide, didn't you?
Yep. Yep. Where's my reward?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I'll be damned. Look at you two and your hearts of gold.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I owe you big time.
Yes, you do. You're supposed to be able to make weapons from
Another
it.
incursion.
Okay, I guess we're gonna get more of a story.
You're telling me everyone in the Academy is dead?
Yes, on Lavinia's orders. She sacrificed most of them to produce a vessel for the resealing.
Is she out of her mind? Those were our classmates.
I'm sorry, Noah. There was no other recourse. I couldn't stop her. It's my fault. Hers was the only viable solution. I could offer no alternative.
Lady Lavinia rarely speaks of the past, but this is dreadful.
Okay, so one of the things that we're gonna find out is that
Voda House, it's directly
Yeah.
descended from Idris, a lineage
Okay.
charged with the terrible task of maintaining the seal for all eternity.
right.
And what's more, they knew. They knew the seal would give out one day. But they could never produce an heir fit for the title, fit to replace Idris. And renewing that seal required them to produce a vessel, something capable of harnessing that power. France and I were spared because the Voda still saw some use for us. But as for the others, snuffed from existence. All of it, the Academy, the resealing efforts, was Lavinia's plan. She called the shots.
She would go so far.
In her defense, I'm sure she was desperate. Doing nothing meant annihilation. Even so, the incident spurred Valentin and me to take our leave of Voda House. We tried to solve it alone. Valentin never said anything, but I'm convinced he was driven not to let anyone else be sacrificed. Sorry, that's more than enough reminiscing. Let's get a move on.
Right. So there are these decisions that had to be made by Lavinia and whoever her boss is, if she has a boss. And it affected how the world is today, but the resealing failed, and that created a problem. And so we will see what happens, because we're going to go back in time again, and we'll sort of see part of that. I mean, Lavinia was not doing it out of malice or malicious intent, so don't hate on her. I don't think she deserves that. She was doing what she felt was right. It was a huge responsibility for her. Same thing with a number of these characters, which you'll discover, is that they made decisions based on what they thought was best for the world and for humans in particular. Even though Lavinia is not human, the decision she made was for humans. So we'll get to that at the end. So right now we're heading to the next resurgence projection, and it'll be the final one. Okay, so the next resurgence is going to be Lyle. or a version of Lyle. And remember, the resurgence themes represent the 3 areas that we went to. So you might say, well, what about Xenon? Well, he was in a prison. So he was in Insula. Okay, well, this is going to be interesting. So it was different from like Sunken City, Corroded Scar, those areas.
Thanks for the lift.
Okay, this is the first time that we're doing this. Okay, it worked. I guess if I had been using the bike... Oh crap, that's even further. I guess if I had been using the bike... Can I go around the other way? Well, now I can't, since I can't get back up there. Since I haven't been using the bike as often as other people might, I'm really not sure of what the capabilities of this thing is.
That's no way to treat this ride.
Oh, the bike had wings. So I could have probably been using the bike on bridges and jump off whenever I want to. I think this is the last Golden Blood Bead. Or actually, it's the last one that I found. I don't think I found the final one until New Game Plus. Again, those things don't reset, so you have all the things that you had when you ended the game. I did eventually find the last one, but I did not find it in this playthrough. Overlink. Yeah, see, some of these, again, I think it makes sense to try them if you're just fooling around and you want to see how some of these new formae actually work. I think it's worth it. I think in some cases you'll be pleasantly surprised. In other cases, it's a one and done. You try it, you use it, like, okay, I don't need to do that again. It was okay, but not worth me switching up my whole setup. And I think in some cases you just get so comfortable with the ones you have that you just stick with them. You're not interested in experimenting. But some of them are real. Some of the late game ones are really, really good. They're really worth it. But you don't know that at the time, right? Let's just loop back around to where we were.
Wait up, I'll be right there.
All right, got a little bit lost there. This is where we want to be going. Actually, is it? Okay, that might have been my fifth one.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Nope, I got it. Okay.
Wait up. I'll be right there.
Hey, buddy, it would be more helpful if you actually told me where the hell I'm supposed to go. What are you doing in here? What are you doing in there? Noah, what's up, buddy? You need some alone time in the tent.
I feel lighter. I feel great. That all you got? Practice? I'll throw down.
No, buddy, we were on a mission. I see the fog gate ahead. I see this item here, and we have an enemy over there. Let's grab the enemy first. I love that these guys just walk right into the Stinger jail thingy.
That looks pretty damn valuable.
What's this? Grand Crimson Stone. I see another item. I see another 2 items. I see the resurrection thingy.
Wait up. I'll be right there.
And I see boss version of Lyle behind the fog gate. Okay.
So much for that. I feel light as a feather.
Oh, I guess when we hit the thing, they all regenerated. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go in here and fight Lyle. Yeah. That was a pain in the ass. This was the second phase version of Lyle. To be honest, I don't remember how. Okay, so he's a big slow boss. That helps in terms of being able to get this. To get these shots off. Oh. Alright, don't get too greedy. Don't get too greedy. in good progress. You see my haze right there, which meant this is not our first attempt. I think it's only the second attempt. A lot of those are easily dodgeable. They're a little bit like the Metagen boss when she sort of spit into the ground and fire came up. It's a little bit like that. I mean, you can handle it in a couple of different ways. You can run it far, far away and hopefully you're out of its range. Or you can just keep running and hope that you dodge them all. I never did use the Bequeath Gourmet that he's using. I think I tried using it once, didn't really like it. Okay, those lightning things seem to go out in front of him, so I guess if you get to his side or back, you can avoid them. Okay, so we're gonna get a critical. We'll see if we can get poison proc on him, since he's pretty close. I was trying to use the Blood Reaver on him. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the fight because he's got these moves and he's got the sword like close to his belly. So you're busy focused on the big ones up top, but it's the one at the belly that can swipe you. Okay, so he seems aggroed on, well, nope, he doesn't, he's walking towards me. I was going to say, he seems aggroed on Noah. Big damage with that. I don't have any now. I'm not sure I'm using the correct blood code in any case. There are blood codes that will give you a little bit more ichor. I think by the time I got to the end of the game, I had like 40 blood codes, and sort of managing them. I think I ended up sticking with the one most of the time, unless I was trying to level them up or make them more proficient or maximize their proficiency. Forward. Okay, I was like, I'm so close to finishing the fight, but I'm also so close to dying. Alright.
There we are. That's the last of the energy.
We did 3 of them. We have all the resurgence energy. Now we face, well, now we have an incursion. And then we face the final boss.
I'm pleased to see you well, Noah. We're thankful you've returned to us on the frontier.
Forget that. Is it true? Did Valentin really go missing at the upheaval?
Yes, I'm afraid so. To make matters worse, the Luna Rapacis continues to scald revenants, giving horrors free rein to terrorize mankind. Humanity needs its protectors now more than ever. Will you lend us your strength?
Looks like our dream wasn't meant to be, Valentin. I tried to do you proud, but it's a dull world without you, old friend.
Did you hear? Lady Lavinia is recruiting a new Revenant hunter to join us.
A hunter, huh? I've worked with one before, but it's been a while. Things might have turned out differently if they'd been here. After the upheaval was a low point for me, like I was stuck in time. That's why our reunion at Magmel was a godsend. You came back, and the future wasn't a dead end anymore. Time began to move again. I even began thinking you could save Valentin. Maybe.
Noah, we...
Don't worry, I know it's wishful thinking, but that's fine. I had no hope until you showed up. You filled that void and gave me light. Through the two of you, I found my purpose again in an empty world. I'll never forget the good times we spent together. Now it's time I repaid the favor I've owed you for a long time. This time, my friend, I'll lead the way. All right, everyone okay?
Noah, just what did you mean by lead the way?
Just what I said, but don't let it bother you. Come on, let's go. We're just about there. You're getting better all the time.
Okay. We are approaching the final boss. Or at least a boss that will give us the end game.
So this is where he lies. Valentin's cocoon.
Can you do me a favor, guys? Promise you'll look after him for me, will you?
And this was the secret that Lavinia told him. That he is the key. He's the literal key.
Noah, stop! You won't hold out!
Hey,
He knows
partner.
that.
I'm here to fulfill our promise. Wake the hell up!
Full anime cool mode. Finally meet the hero Valentin, and we say goodbye to Noah. Thanks, bud. Good job.
He knew he wouldn't survive. I will rise to the occasion.
Okay, so now we are going to... I don't know why they placed one of these here, but in any case, we're going to unlock the map.
The pathos blocks our way. It's most likely Valentin's. We'll need
And
to
we're
touch
gonna
it to proceed.
We're gonna do
Why
this.
does the air here feel so heavy, though?
Why do you think? What is it? What kind of question is that? We knew there would be another incursion,
Believe me,
right? So we,
Valentin, losing the students still pains me deeply too.
okay, so Valentin
There
confronted
was no
Lavinia.
other way. Procuring a vessel was absolutely necessary. You have to put this behind you and look to the future. It was our misfortune that Idris's ability didn't manifest in you.
For generations, Voda House has venerated Idris, fixated solely on tracing his footsteps. But his seal won't hold forever. What if others wrong, though? What if Voda House's methods are a mistake? My friends would have died for nothing. We can't keep sacrificing the people we're trying to protect. There has to be a better way.
Like Xenon, Valentin too sought to find a different path than the one Idris chose.
We have
There's another shard.
the next incursion.
Air is so thin, it's hard to breathe. Place your hand on it. I'm sure Valentin is beyond the shard.
Transcript of the Xenon Grifgrove trial. Why is increasing the Revenant population seen as a vice? He tried to warn us then, didn't he? About the true nature of the resurgence. motivation is clear to me now. Imitating Idris's ways will only ever be a temporary measure. But there is one way to eradicate the resurgence for good. We weren't mistaken, Noah. I can build the future we dreamed of now. A world where mankind can finally flourish.
Did he say eradicate the resurgence for good? But how?
A few more mysteries left before the very end.
This place is steeped in Valentin's pathos.
Yep.
We must be near the lunar core.
Yes, we are, because we have the final
It
missile.
seems safe here. There he is.
Okay, unfortunately, this is the part where sound cut out and was lost forever and ever and ever. So I'm not going to show you the 20-minute long fight because I think it'll be a little weird. He has a healing ability, which is what he just did, so he's back at full health. He has a bunch of different attacks. That healing ability is called the vacuum heal. The way to avoid it is to stay out of range of it. This is, we forwarded ahead. If you stay out of range of it, he won't be able to heal. And he does have a tell for when he's going to do it, but I can't tell what the tell is. So I got caught numerous times with that. He's not the first boss or the only boss in the game that has that. There's another boss we had to deal with that. A boss that wouldn't, whenever he changed his mask to a particular one, he would do that heal thing. So we are about to take him down. And he only has one face. Okay, so the better course of action in this one is to use long-range weapons. So this is going to be considered the first ending of the game. There's a second ending of the game, and there's a true ending of the game. That is the only reason I didn't just clip and show the final boss fight, because there are these multiple endings. So this is the first ending. We slay the hero Valentin. Lavinia comes in. You know, we just lost her son. So she feels like, as she did the first time, right? She feels it's her responsibility And because she couldn't produce a vessel that would do this job, she then felt like, okay, it's time for her to do it. And in so doing, it would wipe out all of the other revenants, of which, of course, everybody in the world we've met are revenants, except for Pax. He's not, he's human. Not quite sure what Lou is, but everybody else is a revenant. And so by doing what she's going to do now, she feels like she's eliminating the sources. The reason I left this part in is because you can actually read the subtitles and see what's going on. Maybe I should be reading it. So yabbering on. In any case, I just told you what she was planning to do. And by doing this, it's certainly one solution. I don't know that it's the only solution, but it's certainly one solution. And I think for her, she feels like it's the only solution. It's sad. It's an ending though. I mean, so if you play the game and you get to this point, you're going to see credits roll. So it's the actual end of the game. He said these ruins are a relic of Lotus. Okay. I toiled a century. Oh, I'm not going to be able to read this. She's just going too fast. It was designed to terminate revenants and revenants alone. So it's to wipe out the revenants, but not humans or anybody else. Amplified by a device on Magmel, it shall propagate across the entire world, cleansing upon a tidal wave of resurgence energy, of course. So, like, she just used a sort of Jedi force palm thing. Like, then why couldn't she actually fight at my side if she has that kind of power? So, because the resurgence can no longer be sealed, she feels like this is the only thing. She says her species is a cancer upon the world. So long as we exist, the world will forever teeter on the brink of destruction. That's pretty sad. Nature dictates life be cherished. Nature dictates it be nurtured within a mortal span. Even in death, each life entrusts its will to the next. That's pretty prophetic. I guess since they're all vampires, it's a little different for them. Says that was Valentin's will and dream, a beautiful future, liberated from fear. It's sort of sad. She feels like she's atoning. Well, too late now. Come, my wretched kin, let us return to the cradle of infinitude. Let us embrace our fate. And she has a nice little speech at the end. And so with this move by her, all revenants will be Thanos'd from the world. Okay, so I was saying I wasn't sure what Lou was, but I guess Lou is a revenant. And so this is a world without revenants. And this young woman is telling the story. It was the dawn of a new age for humanity. It heralded a new day under the mantle of their leader. Their leader, of course, is Pax. The one thing is, I'm not sure how much time has passed between the events we just saw and this little clip. But as you can see, they're at Pax's funeral. So some time has passed. He's not a revenant, so he wouldn't have been killed in that explosion thingy. But this is his memorial service. So in some respects, there's a little bit of a mystery as to why this part of it happened. But again, this is just one of 3 endings. Code Vein 2, ending number 1. It's a little odd. I know that there are games that have multiple endings, but the way they set or stage these particular endings are a little different. Just a little different. Okay, so now we're moving on to how to get the second ending of the game. Xenon appears. I'm guessing he must have done a time shift thing himself, because otherwise he wouldn't be here. But he's going to time shift us back into the time of the upheaval. We've heard a lot about the upheaval. We were going back and forth in timelines, but we didn't enter the timeline of the upheaval. We went before the upheaval and then after the upheaval. So now we're going to go within the upheaval. This is another time shift decision. It's short, even though I've had to edit heavily because of no sound. Um, it wasn't a very long part anyway. So anyway, he is explaining. Xenon is explaining um, what his task is now. He's going to put him back to sleep. When you awaken, fate will force your hand again. You must trace our bond and locate me. Only then. Um, so, like we did the first time, we're going to have to go back and find um, Xenon again. But since he's sending us back to the upheaval, all of the other heroes will still be alive because it's back to a different time. So as you can see, she's here, which means this is before. Okay. Pax is having a moment. And so, like the beginning of the actual game, when he sort of woke up after being, I guess, killed at the end of the first game, right? I don't know whether he's going to tell her what's going on. But in any case, we are now back at the period of the upheaval. Long time no see. Yeah, so she's not really aware of the conversation that Xenon had with him. So now that he's back, there's a bond. It would appear this bond is linked to a timeline when we first met Xenon. But wait, that would mean that, okay, so she's sort of figuring it out. Yes, we can travel back to the upheaval. So that's their task. First course of action, of course, is to get to Xenon. I only kept this in because I like the way it looks. Otherwise, I would have deleted it as well. I mean, it's again, the no sound thing might drive some people crazy, but there's a lot going on and a lot happening at the end. So I skipped right to the point where we're getting to Xenon, and we're actually going to see something. There we go. We are actually seeing what happened to him, how he ended up here, and it was no other than Lavinia that imprisoned him. I'm quite impressed by your for your forme. It's a testament to your immense. The problem therein, however, is that the very dedication binds you to far better possibilities. Okay, Pax comes in to save the day. Zenon says, "At last you've come." Lavinia says, "Who goes there?" Remember, she has not met him yet, so she doesn't know who this is. But again, if she has if she has this ability, why the hell didn't she use it to help me fight when we came to um, Insula Carsari the first time? And she was just in my head. See, she feels like it's a duty. Voda House will soon fulfill its duty. None shall interfere. But it's really not. Actually, I guess she doesn't know that. She has not traversed back and forth through time like Pax has. And Lou shows up, and Lavinia's like, "What the fuck?" And Lou's like, "Okay, we got to get Xenon out of here so we can save the world." And then Xenon says, "Ah, I got you." So he then imprisons Lavinia. Yeah, lots of twists and turns in this for the second ending. Okay, he's saying the resealing ritual will fail. You've traveled back in time to alter history. Have you? Okay, so Lavinia is again not aware of any of this stuff. Xenon, of course, says he predicted it all and has agreed to help them. Okay, so all right. So, like in the previous part we just did, we're going to have to work our way to the boss. They certainly don't make it easy. And so we're going to do that one step at a time. Actually, before we do that, we're going to go back to Magmel and meet all of our friends. As you can see, they're all well and good. We have Lyle, we have Jose, we have Holly, we have Valentin. I don't know. I keep wanting to call a guy Valentin. It's Valentin. He's giving a little speech telling them what their task. He's actually tasking them with going to do certain things. So the idea is to get those to get the enemies. I forget what you call them. So he's saying, so he's asking them for their help. I guess they could say no, but they won't. Now then, your first task is to make your way here. Right, it's the retainers. Right. So the idea is to defeat the retainers of progenitor Idris. Each of them must be defeated to open up the route to the sealing chamber. Once the chamber is open, Voda House will handle it from there, meaning he will handle it. But again, we all know how it turned out. And so somewhere along the line, Pax is going to have to change what ultimately happens. Because if he allows him to go forward with what he's doing, it won't work. And we know that because we've already been to the future. So no one else knows that. So we have this little dinner scene, which would have been nice if there was actual sound. But in any case, you get to sort of talk to each of your hero friends. Look who the cat dragged in. I knew you'd show up, darling. I would expect nothing less. Can't resist a good fight with the whole world at stake, right? I'm glad you're here, though. You're the one I need most. I guess we'll need to buckle down, though. Alas, we don't have time for a truly proper reunion. Worst is yet to come, and you're here to prevent it. Sound about right? Yep, that's about right. Don't worry, I'll watch your back. So these little moments, I think, really made the game that much better. I mean, the game makes you care about the characters because you're doing so much work with each of the characters. I didn't think I would like that initially. I was like, there's too much going on, but you do get to like them, and you have to fight them, and you have to kill them, and then you see them again, and you have to do it again. I mean, so that causes you to develop some kind of bond with them. All right, so he's gonna go over and talk to Holly. Now there's a face I never thought I'd see again. A perfect surprise. You seem far more sure of yourself now. Keep sacrificing, putting your life on the line. You kept sacrificing, putting your life on the line. Honestly, I wasn't sure. I didn't have the confidence. But to do my part, I respond to the summons. But to do my part, I will respond to the summons. So any of them will be summonable, by the way. They will not all be summonable. So it's not like you can go in there with a group of people fighting on your behalf. Even though this is a nice little cutscene where you see them all together. This is the second scene where we've seen them all together. It won't be the last. But they will not all be able to fight as a group. You can pick one. And when you get to the final boss, if you're struggling with one particular summons, then just use another one until you get it right. Basically rinse and repeat, which is what I did. Um, the later ones, like Holly, um, one could argue was later. She was the last one in the area in the undead forest, so I used her a lot. Then I went with Noah. Then I went with Lyle. And even Xenon, who I think, if I remember correctly, was he the one I finally beat the boss with? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I think that you do have choices, and you can try them over and over. Now, this is the version of Craig that cannot walk. So I don't think he's one of the summonable ones. Certainly Lyle, Holly, Jose, Lou, Noah, they're all summonable, and Xenon. And Craig and Lavinia are not summonable for the final fight. So in any case, they're catching up. Um, and eventually we'll have another incursion. Haha. And then we'll move on. Listen to me, Lou, successor of Idris's affinities, born by noble sacrifice. So Lou is a successor to Idris. Now we don't know that. It was hinted at by Xenon earlier in the game. But we didn't really know that, and Lou doesn't seem to know a lot about herself either. Um, I don't know whether there'll be a third game where we'll actually learn about Idris, or a prequel game where we learn about Idris. That would be nice. But there are a lot of these references that we don't really know a lot about, and there are no cutscenes where we actually see Idris or hear him talking about why things are the way they are. So she's telling, I guess that was Valentin she's talking to. Okay, so this is resurgence energy, and it is my duty to seal it. For that is my purpose. Okay, so Lou now feels like it's her job to reseal, um, to do the resealing, as opposed to Valentin. She didn't know that. That was me. No wonder I had no memories. I was a puppet made to follow orders and fade from existence. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. The vessel was me. That's why Lady Lavinia brought me into being, to seal the resurgence. Yikes. Ooh, I remember everything now. The upheaval wouldn't have happened if not for me, and it cost us dearly. So she feels like since she didn't do her job, that was why the upheaval happened. It was because my powers were inadequate. The resealing failed because I fell short in my duty. So she's taking it a little hard. And history will repeat itself. If Zenon doesn't finish his work in time, someone else will be sacrificed. One way or another, this is our moment. Still, if it's to keep you safe, I'll do whatever it takes. All right, Lou? No one can take my place. Only I can make this work. After all, it is my purpose. It's okay. I'll be dying for a good cause. I have nothing to fear. You're taking that well. Actually, maybe she's not taking it well. Oh, but I'm not the same person anymore. I'm afraid. Okay, there we go. That's more real. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm terrified of never seeing people I care about again. These feelings make it so much harder. Yep, I guess it would. So there are these. I'll be with you until the end. There are amazing cutscenes at the end of the game. Okay, so we are ready to get ready to go. That little circle is a sort of a summoning or sending circle, I guess, is going to take us where we need to go. And just so you know, even after you start that quest, you can come back to that same spot. And at the end of the game, when you go to New Game Plus, you come back to that spot, and then there's something else you have to do after that to start New Game Plus. So the spot doesn't disappear. Okay, Valentin is here. He's telling them that we all have his gratitude. Leave the rest to us. Ooh, he means it. Now bear witness. No adverse effects from the transfer. Sealing device. Vessel vitals stable. I repeat, vitals are stable. See, he still thinks he's the vessel. Oh, but no, because he knows there's Lou inside of that machine. Interesting. Let us begin. Soon we shall see if all we've see that after all that we've lost and suffered. Blah 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 blah. I don't know what he said after that. Okay. So if we think of the first ending as the bad ending, right? Because everybody sort of dies. Okay, well, this doesn't look like it's too successful. As I suspected. Despite all the bloodshed, despite all the measures we took, our failure was inevitable. Something has eluded us. Some missing piece, a token of victory forever unknown. Not forever. There is now but one path left for revenant kind. Okay, so he absorbs Idris's blood. Forgive me, my friend. I have no other choice. Okay, so he's going to try the resealing. Revenants are the root of the cause of the resurgence. You know it to be true. That's the same thing that Lavinia said. No amount of sacrifice will lift this scourge, not as long as we, the seeds of its own destruction, walk this earth. Okay, so he failed the first time, and that was why Lavinia attempted this the second time, using basically the same language. Okay, and now we have yet another version of Valentin that we got to deal with. This version of Valentin is, what is your name, Valentin? Okay, so Xenon pops onto the scene just in time. And he puts, I guess, his soul savior Valentin in stasis. Sort of explains the thing. Okay, he explains that it was built to kill revenants. That's where you come in. From what I've surmised, and your history, and your history as the greatest hunter, I guess it's his job to slay Valentin at this point. You need to slay the beast, expose an energy mass. Okay, Lou's back. The rest will be up to me. I will attempt to seal it for good. Okay, so she's going to try resealing again. This is what gets a little murky because I'm not quite sure. I guess it could have been a different version of Lou, but that can't be if it's time traveling. It's got to be the same Lou. Um, right, because your past self failed unless they created another you. I mean, I guess that's possible. I mean, this is sort of science fantasy. Any energy that Lou is unable to, well, I messed that up. That should buy us a sliver of time, a single opportunity to determine why the seal failed. We can then devise a countermeasure, seal the resurgence in earnest. It's the only chance we have for the world to see. Okay, all right. Help me in. I gotta knock some sense into that damn fool while I still can. Okay, so everybody's in. Nobody's gonna say, nah, you know what, Pax, you got this. This is all you. I'll see you in the next life. Everybody is going to agree to help him. I think, I don't know whether that is because we had solid relationships with them in each of their timelines. And I don't know whether you can mess that up. I mean, there's only these endings in the game, so there's not a fourth or fifth ending. So I don't know whether or not it mattered what your relationship was like. I think it was going to always be this way. But obviously, you won't get to the second ending if you, when you saw the credits after the first ending, turn the game off. You needed to sort of play through at least some of the credits, and that's going to happen again, by the way, because there is the true ending. This is not going to lead to the true ending. This is simply leading to the second ending. Okay, so impressive looking boss, scary as hell looking boss, and has some of the same moves as the previous Valentin, but some new stuff as well. So again, because of sound issues, I didn't think you guys would want to see me go through 30 minutes of fighting the guy. Xenon happened to be my partner this last time through. This is not a one attempt kind of a thing. I probably fought him 5 or 6 times with each of the different heroes, starting with Lou and lost each time. Went with Noah, probably more than anybody else, and lost with him and decided to go with Xenon. Xenon is probably the tankiest of all of the heroes, and he's aggressive. Actually, Noah is pretty aggressive as well. So what I learned is you really need to dodge everything. The first time I fought him, you don't really know all of his little moves. By the second or third time you understand his moves, that doesn't mean you can defend against them all. So he's pretty aggroed on, well, that's it. He was pretty aggroed on Xenon, which is what you want. If he's aggroed on him, then you can get some damage. You can do your own type of damage. But it's a long fight. It's a very long fight. Okay, so when that fight is over, after much dancing around, again, there's only one phase. So you're going to get a cutscene, and a resealing is going to happen. And only if you've done all of the timeline shift decisions can you get the true ending, by the way. So if you didn't do them all, you're not going to get the true ending. The game won't give you the option. And I'll tell you what the option is in a second. But there is an option. If you don't do that, you won't get that as an option. This time, the resealing will work. Xenon is protecting everyone. I guess she doesn't want to fail. Lou says to Pax, at least let me save you. Oh, Pax jumps in. Basically, he doesn't want to be saved. My life belongs to you. Live. He gives her back the part of the heart that she gave to him at the very, very start of the game. This was so long ago now, at the very start of the game. And so now she has the strength to complete her job. Of course, the seals requires an element of mankind. Confound it. How could I not have foreseen this? And so with that, we have the second ending. Pax ends up dead. He sacrificed himself to save Lou so that she could complete the resealing. But in so doing, right, she's now part of that. She can't just walk around like things used to be. And so this will bring us to the third and true ending of the game. This is a future where Pax and Lou are viewed as heroes. As you can see, the resurgence is sealed in that thingy. And so this will be Lou's life for all eternity. Unless of course the seal fails again, but this is it. With her dead partner Pax. And so now, if you've completed the timeline shift decision quests, if you've done all of those, You have to do all of them. You can then, when you after the credits roll, you'll get an option that allows you to rescue Lou. You need to select the rescue Lou option, and it will take you here. Lavinia is speaking to him. Hello, can you hear me? Your body, as well as Lou's, remains trapped within the seal. Okay. I managed to establish a link to your consciousness, but it's unstable. Listen closely. You must reassemble the fragments of your power. Of course, it was never going to be easy. Then make your way to Lou. Your future awaits you, as do all of those who pray you awaken. Please find it in your heart to trust me. Yeah, kind of difficult to do, Lavinia, you know what I mean? Although, again, I guess she didn't know. So our role now is to save Lou. So I was just checking to see if I can summon anybody. It looks like I'm on my own. So you're going to have 5 of these bosses to fight. They're hero bosses: the hero of unity. This is the first one. The hero of integrity, the hero of reform, hero of compassion, and the hero of guidance bosses. So this first hero, hero of unity, is a metagen we've faced before. Um, we summoned Jose for the fight. We can summon people, by the way. Um, so not a bad deal. I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So you complete the fight, you warp back, you get to the next one, which is the hero of integrity boss, and that's the Pioneer Queen. All of these are bosses we fought before, by the way, so there are no new ones. So Imogen, the Pioneer Queen, we fought her. Um, we take her out. Again, I've shortened these because of the lack of sound and wanted to spare you guys, uh, any longer than I needed to in terms of not having sound. Hero of Reform is the next one. That's a Xenon duplicate. Again, we fought these guys before, and we're probably a little bit stronger than when we fought them the first time. So it's probably easier to make it through this rescue Lou part of the fight. Hero of Compassion is the next one. Um, and that will be Camillo, Ali's dad. I guess they got tired of making us fight the actual hero bosses over and over, so they added some new ones. So we summoned Holly to help with her dad. That just seems seems right. So we took him out. He's got poison proc on him, so he's not going to survive this anyway. All right, and then after that, we go to the hero of guidance, which is the actual final boss. And this boss is unlike, I can't say it's unlike any that we faced before. It's different. It's the Resurgence Core. That's the name of this boss. We fought something that was a little bit like him, but he seems a little bit like a combo of these things. It was the one of Idris's people or things. You'll see when we get there. And I promise you, this is the real end. There's no other ending after that. This is it. Rescue Lou is going to lead you to the true ending of the game, and some nice moments. And since there is no sound when we get to those moments, I will add sound in an editing process that won't be game sound. It'll have to be YouTube sound, so I won't get copywritten because I think it works better with sound. I mean, it's just some nice moments. Anyway, so we're going to do this. It's in the same room. It's in the same room we fought France, I believe. So that should be down these stairs. So we're going to grab Noah to help with this fight, only because it's his space, not because Um, he's fought this guy before. Oh no 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 no! I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. He has fought this guy before. This is a version of France. This is not the This is not the last boss. This is another boss. I think. In any case, let's just fight this guy. Easier. Well, I say that, but I haven't done any damage yet. Um, that's probably not going to be the move since he's pretty nimble around the arena. Yeah, one of the things. Okay, this works. So if you can get these shots off, if I get close enough to make sure that I get iCore back each time, which is good, and then just keep spamming these shots, this fight would be easy, over easy. And I did go back and was able to put poison on my bullets, so I can actually proc poison with the bayonet now. Before it was only with the dual blades. Um, and I'm guessing I could have chosen to use fire or any of these other things, but poison I think just does so much more damage over time. It doesn't last very long, and I don't know whether there's something that will allow it to last long. Um, so once you, oh, I got it critical. Once you proc poison on him, it'll probably last less than 30 seconds. Uh, oh, good. I got him in the corner. I can use that. He's as crazy. This is like the second phase of that fight, of the France fight, but he's as crazy as he was the first time in terms of his wild moves. And Noah is keeping him occupied, which is what I want. Is I'm just spamming the hell out of this, and one more should do it. Yep. Oh, nope. Yep. Nope. Am I done? No. Yeah. Done. All right. And that's it for him. Oh, by the way, you get a lot of good shit at the end. I mean, a lot of good stuff. And I would recommend you equip all of it before you go into the final boss fight. It will help. I think it will help immensely. This is the final boss. You don't keep those when you go to New Game Plus. Um, and I guess because you can't get them unless you're doing the true ending. So I guess that's why it doesn't carry over. Um, and that's annoying. There's Lou. We have to rescue her, and that's the annoying part. But I mean, they're really, really good things. So you got all of those things. You really should equip all of that before you go into the fight. It will give you all kinds of boosts that you're going to need. So very long fight, multiple attempts on this one. Um, he has these clones that pop out. He has all kinds of batshit crazy um, attacks, magic, and all this other stuff that really makes him a very difficult fight. But I guess he's supposed to be difficult. He's the final boss of the game. But he's slow, so that's an advantage. It allowed me to use that particular spell or forme over and over and over again. Okay, you got the resurgence core. That's if you can avoid the stuff that pops out of the ground, which you didn't see in this particular clip. The things that pop out of the ground. So now we're gonna rescue Lou. Let's grab Lou. We're back in the convergence. And this is the moment that I was talking about. You get to see all the characters. Um, this is in Lou's convergence, so it's kind of nice. And there's Lou. And we are now officially at the end, and this is the true ending. And actually, almost you'll see it. There's another little cutscene that actually sort of makes it a happy ending, I guess you can call it. So in this true ending, Pax is alive. Lou as well. And I'm not quite sure what's going on in this little part here, but she apparently is going to bring or share her power. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Lavinia is there. Lady Lavinia, how is this possible? Everybody's there. Xenon is there. The whole crew is there. We've witnessed a miracle. All right, so once again, they've goofed up with time. In this particular case, Xenon says this. And I guess maybe they're all a part of, yeah, okay, so that's what this is. It's not magic, it's their bond. So they all have a bond now. It took a century, rather hard-working century. Come with me, and I'll show you the future, where humans and revenants live in harmony. Nice. So this is I don't want to call the other one a bad ending, because I don't think the intent was for it to be a good ending versus a bad ending. But it's a true ending. And I like it. I like it. I did not know that when I started playing the game. I just knew that eventually we would get to an end. I didn't know that there are ways to influence any other endings of the game. And that was the only time he talked. And unfortunately, you can't hear his voice. It's crazy. And while this part shows, which is some beautiful cutscenes of the characters and their names, which is the names of the characters, not the actors, by the way, which is interesting. I'll give you my thoughts on the game. Code Vein 2. I love this game, but I love all of these types of games. So not a surprise that I would actually love the game. It's there's a lot to learn. When I first started playing, I wasn't all that sure I was going to love the combat. It turns out the combat wasn't a stopping point for me, and you do learn. I guess that's true for every game, especially when they're different. Lavinia Voda. Story got a little bit, a little bit confusing with the time shifts, but not game breaking confusing. Jose Anjou. Good game, fun game. I loved it so much I started playing New Game Plus. And I am going to finish New Game Plus eventually, but like I said, Lise Anjou. I am in the process of playing Crimson Desert right now, and then Neo 3 afterwards, and we'll see what happens after that, but I will finish it. Hopefully I'll finish it and record it. I've been playing New Game Plus without recording. Lau McLish. I didn't know that was his last name. Craig. Remember your last name? I know your mom is the queen of the Pioneer Queen. Craig McLish. Wait, they're brothers? I know Craig and... Oh, no, they're not brothers. Craig made Lyle. He's a vampire. All right, got it. This is Iris. Iris Magmel. I don't know why some of the characters have Magmel as a last name and some of them don't. Because some of them gave their name as something different. Like Noah gave his name as a different name than it turned out. I think he called himself Noah Griffgoat initially, but that's not his last name. I think he uses Magmel now. Holly Astorius. I love this little scene. This little anime wrap up, no credits, just showing the characters. I love it. Monica or Licorice. Licorice or Monica, of course. Holly's mom. Xenon Griffgoat. Oh, man. Pretty cool. I didn't think I was going to like his character because he was just too jokey, but he actually turned out to be one of my favorite characters. he's pretty fun. That's his, I guess, modeled after his wife. You know, but she's something he created. Jadwiga Gripcoat. You know, let's see if they call him Noah Magna or Noah Gripcoat. Noah Magna, and the G, I guess, is for Gripcoat. Interesting. I don't understand that. That part I don't. It's like there's some lore elements that I'm not clear on. And I don't know whether this was based on a book or anime, Valentin Boda, or any of those kind of, definitely not based on anime, but based on based on some comic type of Blue Magma. So not quite sure. But in any case, fun game. If I were to rate this game, I would rate this game probably an 8.8 out of 10. Maybe even a 9.2. And the only reason it's not a 10 is because some of the timeline things get very difficult to follow. And I think that made it a little bit tricky. But I love the game. Awesome game. I would recommend it to anybody. It's fun. You'll enjoy it. There's a lot to do. And I think that this was a winner. So with that, thank you guys for joining me. This is Reg with PaxAriaGaming. I will see you in the next game. Take good care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.